Awesome. All right, I'm going to keep going. There we go. All right. So I have been reading, and I know Liza has too, but a ton of different books and just reading a lot about how important it is for us not only to understand the products and understand the company, but to understand kind of where we are as a leader and where our growth needs to happen. And so obviously everybody, John Maxwell is a huge leadership guru. And one of the things he talks about is that there's just all different levels of leadership, and that most of us start with pretty much no leadership skills whatsoever. We get thrown into something where we are a leader, whether we like it or not. And then from there, you kind of have to learn how to be a leader so that you don't scare your team off, really, and so that you don't leave them to have to figure out everything for themselves. So there's lots and lots of information that we could talk about. Yeah, I wondered where you went. There's lots of information we could talk about, and I'm just going to start with a couple specific things. So I love John Maxwell, but there's a lot of people that you can follow, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But he has multiple books, and I'm going to kind of pick in a little bit from two different books. He's got a 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, which is an amazing book. I'm reading this now. And then there's a 21 Laws of Leadership, I think is essentially the name of the other one. The first chapter in this 15 Laws of Growth talks about intentionality. And it really just says essentially that the only way you can change who you are today is making intentional decisions to grow to be a better person. Just because you go to bed tonight and wake up tomorrow morning is not going to make you a better person. You're going to be the same old person until you choose to make decisions to grow yourself. It's not automatic, and it's not an accident. And he talks about how every person needs a personal growth plan, and that like 99% of the people in America or wherever, internationally I'm sure, do not have any kind of a personal growth plan. They have no idea really personally where they're going. And whether that's, he is a Christian, so whether that's faith-based or whether it's not, you still have to have some sort of plan of how you're going to become a better person, how you're going to become a better leader, how you're going to become a better friend, a better parent, a better whatever, every single day. Because just by going to bed tonight and waking up tomorrow, you're not going to be better. And so he talks about personal growth plans almost like a mission statement. Like, what is your mission statement with Plexus? But what is your mission statement with life in general? Hopefully Plexus is a part of that, obviously, but there's a lot to your growth plan that has really it could be used in Plexus or it could be used somewhere else in life. It's just how do you want to develop as a person? And he says that success is an uphill and intentional trip. So again, this doesn't just happen. It has to be very intentional. In the book, he talks about a lot of different things that can hold you back from growing intentionally. Assumptions, and assumptions would be that whole, I think I'm just going to wake up tomorrow and I'm just going to be better because I've lived another day. Knowledge, if you don't know how to grow, you have no idea how to set goals, how to be disciplined, how to have consistency, that can be a problem. It can hold you back from growing. So assumptions, knowledge, timing. You might want to grow, but you haven't actually put any effort into actually doing it. So the timing of the difference between deciding to do it and actually doing it. And, he talks a lot about there, like, you just have to do it. And I think I put this quote on Facebook the other night because I thought it was incredible, that it was like, don't wait until you're ready to do it, just do it today. You have to go and you have to do it before you're ready. The mistakes can hold you back. If you're too afraid of making a mistake, then that's going to hold you back from being a good leader and being, good with your personal growth. We all have to realize none of us are perfect. There was only one perfect man who walked on earth, and it was not us. And so every one of us has to be okay with the fact that in order to lead, you have to be willing to make mistakes. And then just go back and say you're sorry or say you were wrong or whatever. It's called Failing Forward. And actually, he has a free book on YouTube that's called Failing Forward that you can listen to for free. There's a perfection issue where you think you have to find the very best way to do something before you're actually going to be willing to do it. And of course, he talks about the fact that you can't wait until you have the perfect way to do something. You just have to get moving. There's inspiration issues where you're a procrastinator. You have to feel inspired. You have to feel led. You have to feel moved before you're going to start making changes in your life. And then there's comparison. And comparison obviously is, oh, I'm not promoting fast enough. Oh, I'm not growing fast enough. You know, I'm not growing the same as, you know, so-and-so next door, or my business isn't growing as quickly, so I'm just going to be sad and down and not put the time and effort in to continue to grow. I'm just going to pout about it instead. And essentially he says we all struggle with some of these. And so, you know, in your own time, you should look through that list and even read the first chapter in the book, you know, if you want to know more about these. But you have to figure out first where it is that you struggle in growth before you can actually grow. You have to be intentional about it. You have to figure out where your, you know, challenges are. And I mean, I was looking at this today. I was listening to Kendra talk about this. And actually, I posted that out in our training. So you can go through a lot more detail about this if you'd like to, out in our training Dropbox. But she talks about, you know, go through and circle which ones you know you deal with. And it's kind of hard to look at the list and be like, yeah, okay, well, I know where my problems are. But that's good, because then you know where you need to grow. And so anyway, that's just about being intentional. Oh, and then there's the expectation gap. Sorry, there's one more. Expectations. I thought it would be easier than this. And it kind of goes with the comparisons. Oh, I thought this would be easier. Oh, I thought I'd get 3 ambassadors and all of a sudden my whole business would flourish. You know, oh, I thought whatever. And are you letting those things hold you back because it wasn't exactly as you expected? Or again, kind of goes back with the comparison. It wasn't as easy as your neighbor or whatever. Another thing I want to talk to y'all about is the law of the lid. And I think this is huge. It goes with that whole intentional. First, you have to be intentional in growing yourself and changing yourself. And then you have to be reasonable in realizing where you are as a leader. So the law of the lid essentially says, you know, but I'll put it on a scale of 1 to 10. If you are a very low-level ambassador or low-level leader, then maybe you're a 1. If you are the best leader in the world, then maybe you're a 10. So all of us are going to fall somewhere in that range of 1 to 10. And where you fall on that, you're never likely to get an ambassador on your team who is going to have leadership skills better than you. So say you are a 5. On a scale of 1 to 10, if you are a 5 as a leader, so you're pretty average, you have to anticipate that the people who are going to be drawn towards being on your team are going to be 4s, 3s, 2s, or 1s. You're not going to get a 6. You're not going to get a 10. I mean, there are people who randomly do. It does happen. But the odds are the people who are drawn to you are going to have leadership skills less than you do. So how do we deal with that? We have to grow ourselves as leaders. So if we are a 5, well, I want to become a 6, and then I can recruit some 5s. Or I want to become a 7, and then I can recruit 6s and 5s. You know, if I can get myself up to an 8, then I'm recruiting some really good people to be on my team. If I'm starting as a 2, that's okay, but I've got to put a lot of time and effort and real thought into how am I going to build myself as a leader. And these books give you a lot of really great information. I couldn't possibly go through all the amazing information that are in leadership books, where you have true 9 and 10 leaders telling you exactly what you need to think about in yourself, exactly where you need to see changes and make changes in yourself, and how you can grow yourself. But you just need to understand that if you're at a 2 or a 3 as a leader, which is totally okay, and you do not have to feel bad about that, but you need to make a goal that you have to grow as a leader in order to grow a team. People simply will not follow somebody who doesn't have the same level of leadership skills that they themselves already have. I wanted to show y'all some books, some other books that I'm reading. The 40-Year Career if you were on my team before Christmas, a lot of you got this for Christmas. The 4-Year Career is a really cool book. Liza and I are both reading it, or have read it, like 3/4 of the way through. I get through like 80% of a book and then I pick up another one. Sometimes I never just finish that book. But I'm 80% of the way through the 4-Year Career, and it's awesome. And it's really about that consistency and learning multi-level marketing and why you want to do this for a long time and how amazing it's going to be. Sarah Robbins' Rock Your Network Marketing Business is a cool little book. It's actually probably only 100 pages. Yeah, it's just slightly over 100 pages. Super easy read. Amazing book for multi-level marketing. I told you about John Maxwell's 2 books, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. And I would highly suggest you read that one before the 24 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, just because he even says in his book, and Kendra said it too, like the growth has to come before the leadership. If you work on growing, you'll be a better leader. But if you only work on leadership, then you're not necessarily growing. And then I told you a second ago, and I have not read it, but I'm going to listen to it this week. Failing Forward is another John Maxwell book that's amazing on YouTube, and it's free. They said it takes about 3 hours if you just want to listen to the YouTube. So you could do it, you know, in a week in 30-minute chunks if you wanted to. Oh, I forgot my other book that I'm reading right now. This is an amazing book if you have, it's called Boundaries. If you have issues where every single person that asks you to do something, you always tell everybody yes, and then you get way overloaded and totally freaked out by how much you offered to do, overextended yourself. This is an incredible book about setting limits, still being a loving person. How do I answer someone who wants my time, energy, money? Do I feel guilty when I consider setting boundaries? It's a Christian book. And it is supposed to be incredible. So Les Gwynn highly recommended we all read this. So I bought it when she said that. And then the Circle Maker is another book that she highly suggested. It's definitely a Christian book for sure. It's all about creating circles around what you want in life and what God's direction is for your life. And it's an amazing book. It's really cool. Just kind of claiming things in his name, and I won't go into all of it, but it's just a really cool book. It's called The Circle Maker, and it's by a Brett something or other, but he's a preacher or pastor out of Washington, D.C. It's called The Circle Maker. And Liza already said, you know, follow Sarah Robbins for sure. Get her emails. Oh my gosh, they are incredible. Beach Money, yeah. I've never read that one. I need to get that. I'm going to write that down. Beach Money. Is another great book. Thanks, Liza. You can unmute yourself, silly. And then follow Sarah Robbins. Follow Eric Worre. He's incredible. Follow John Maxwell. He does, and I sent him the other day, there's 1 minute, he does 1 minute words that he just talks about every day. And they're actually really cool. And this week is all about leadership words and just his kind of ideas about leadership and whatever. But to follow them and to get their emails are great. Each of them, you get at least an email a week, if not more. John Maxwell, you get an email a day. Eric Worre, I feel like I get 2 or 3 a week. So those are some that I totally suggest you follow. Anything else for leadership and growth you want to add, Liza?
I think you just really need to be intentional, like Melissa said, on your personal development, and really focus on doing a lot of these readings. You know, order some of these books that Melissa just talks about, and I've read Eric Worre's Go for Pro, and the 4-Year Career, and I'm reading Beach Money now, and I have Sarah Robbins' book, and I ordered the Flip Flop CEO, and I ordered Go for No, and it's just, I'm being intentional about doing this as my personal development, and I've really, really learned a lot from these books. They've really helped me a lot, and they're inspiring too. You know, it's not just, you know, what you're learning. I mean, you really come away feeling like you can do this and excited and passionate about it. It really has helped me, and it's helped me grow in this business. and it's helped me not feel so bad about the whole network marketing thing, because I know that we all kind of feel that, I don't know, that weirdness about it sometimes. So these books really help with that.
That's awesome. Absolutely. I was thinking of something else and now it's totally gone out of my head. While I'm thinking about it, does anybody want to unmute or just chat and ask questions? Or I definitely wanted this to be a partially open question time. Oh, I know one thing I was thinking. I know in the beginning for me, when I first had my first couple ambassadors on my team, and Liza was one of them, Liza came to me and asked questions. And so I kind of, in my head, say that again?
A lot.
Well, that was good, though. That was good. But my upline never really comes to me. She waits to hear from me if I have a question. And so I'm not the type that will just ask questions. I actually am the type that would, I don't know, I just won't. And so I would go find things out for myself or whatever. And I loved that Liza came to me and asked questions, but at the same time, then I kind of expected in my head, okay, well then any ambassador on my team will come and ask me questions if they need help. And that's not true. I'm just telling you right now, it is not true. It's really cool when people will, and some of you, actually pretty much everybody on here, who's my level 1, is great at asking questions and coming to me when you need help. But at the same time, it is my job as your upline, and therefore your job as an upline, to reach out to those people as well and not let them feel like they're just out there alone. And I really thought, well, they know I'm here, and I've told them I'm here, and I've told them I'll answer questions anytime, so they must not have any questions. And I've been much more intentional about, they call it touching, about touching people at least once a week, just checking in. Even if they don't respond to me, I send them a video, I send them an audio, I literally record my voice and say, hey, I was just thinking of you, whatever. Hey, do you have any questions? Hey, I saw this cool testimony, thought of you. Did you remember we're having our meeting on Monday night? Whatever, just some way to reach out and constantly, at least once a week, just be available to them so they know I'm there whenever they need them. And it's really helped to grow my business more and help to not lose people quickly by just reaching out and touching them, and they just know that I'm there, even if I don't hear back from them. Sometimes I'll hear back from them, weeks later, oh, thanks for all the information, blah, 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 I was doing ABC, whatever. So don't feel like you're bothering people. I always felt like I was bothering people. Text them, email them, call them, whatever you used to do when they were just friends. Do that still, because they still obviously are your friends, and now you just have this business with them as well. So that's what I wanted to say. So
can I piggyback on that?
Oh, yeah.
So that was one thing, or one way I screwed up in the beginning, was the first few ambassadors that I got on. They were very quiet, and I kind of just, that's it. You're signed up. That, we don't need, we don't need to do anything more. If you have any questions, like Melissa said, come to me. And I just assumed that they would, and I never heard from them. And eventually they just kind of went away. So I kind of screwed myself because I did not keep in contact with them. And now the ambassadors that are coming on, I think Taffany and we were in contact pretty regularly. Wouldn't you say, Taffany? Thank you.
Yes.
We were in contact, and Taffany would ask me questions a lot. And now the ones that have signed on recently, I sit down with them every other week, or at least I try to, and go over different training things. Or I pick up the phone, or I message them. I'm in contact with them frequently. But in the beginning, I did not. And, some people say, some uplines, and I'm not going to mention any names, say, if you want to learn something, you need to go and find it for yourself. I'm not about that at all. I want my team members to come to me, because something I read in one of these books was, if your downline is asking you a lot of questions, that's really a good thing, because that means they're excited. And if all of a sudden you're not hearing from them, they've lost their excitement. Mm-hmm. So a regular open communication, I think it's huge for this business. So yeah, we can direct them on where to go and hope that eventually they'll start learning that, where to go to find the information, but they need our support in the beginning. They don't know what this is all like kind of second nature to us now, the compensation plan or where to find things. But for these people, it is not. And if we just kind of let them go willy-nilly, then when they get their customers signed on, they're going to let them go willy-nilly and let them think that they can figure it out for themselves. I had an ambassador, one of my downlines, tell one of their new downlines, figure it out for yourself.
Oh.
And she didn't even know. And so that was the end of that. So anyway, it's just really important to communicate with your team.
Yeah. Eric Worre, I've been listening to this. I drove to Savannah to see Dawn the other day, and I listened to this audio series that I'm going to share with you guys tomorrow. It's amazing, but it's long. So I listened to it in my car all the way to Savannah and back, about 4 hours total. And one of the things he says is that a new ambassador is, in their first 30 days, they are the same as a baby from birth to 5 years old. That's the level of care an ambassador needs in their first 30 days, because you're teaching them everything. If you think of a child, you're teaching potty training and feeding and bathing and sleeping. And, that's an enormous amount of stuff a kid learns in their first 5 years. Crazy. That's your first 30 days with them. You have to pour into them as much as you can and just make sure they have everything they need for those first 30 days.
You're gone.
Oh. Totally gone?
No, you're back.
Oh. Make sure you pour into them for the first 30 days as if they are a new baby, a new child. And that will help you to guide them in the right way. And then from there, obviously, as they get older, if you think about a 10-year-old or a 15-year-old or a 20-year-old child, they need less and less constant touch, unlike when they're a newborn baby. So, questions, anybody? Since I can't see anybody except Taffney. You guys all blacked out your screens, whatever. No chatting, no questions? Man, y'all are quiet tonight. All right, well, that's all I had. Liza, you got anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for staying on for this. I think from now on, we're going to do this. We'll talk through books, or we'll talk about just whatever portion of leadership and growth at the time, or we can have it open for questions if you guys have questions with specific people on your teams, or whatever. I just want, we want to be here for you guys as leaders and help you grow your team. So we're excited, and we will sign off. So thank you. Have a good night.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.